What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brew master in chief. And tonight, in the BrewLab, we're checking in with the Alchemy meta once again. Earlier today, we had a look at the new mono white. Tonight, we look at what is probably going to emerge as the best deck, or at least one of the best decks in the new format. The deck I'm talking about is, of course, a deck that features the new card from Alchemy, Brushstroke. Sanguine Brushstroke, which poops out a Blood Artist. So Blood Artist is back in Standard. It's a reprint, apparently. I never got to play with the original Blood Artist, but it's just another life drain card in a deck that already had some pretty good ones. So it basically, for 3 mana, puts 2 life drain cards and 3 things onto the battlefield. Super duper strong. And at ETBs, you create a blood token, and you conjure a card named Blood onto the battlefield. And of course, you get the Sanguine Brushstroke itself that has a static ability that says whenever you sacrifice a blood token, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So we need to be having creatures die. It's either, our creatures or the opponent's creatures that'll get a trigger off the Blood Artist. And we then need to have blood token production so that we can get the benefit out of both of these cards. Of course, the Blood Artist is being conjured. It's an actual card that's ending up in your graveyard if it dies. It's not a token. So we have full play set of Agadeem's Awakening, which, along with our 1 and 3 drops, makes for a really nice Agadeem's Awakening. For 5 mana, for 6 mana, you could get back a Fellstinger, the Blood Artist, and one of our many 1 drops. Or, if you haven't lost the Blood Artist, you can bring back your Voldaren Bloodcaster, which is on the same spot on the curve as the Blood Artist. So full play set of Agadeem's Awakening MDFC, which is why we can run such a slim mana base. I mean, the deck tops out at 3 anyway. So we've only got 17, 18, 19, 23 lands if you include the Agadeem's Awakening. So it's actually okay. Then we've got one of the new cards from Alchemy in the 1-drop slot as well, the Cursebound Witch, which is, wow. It's this spellbook, draft from a spellbook mechanic is probably my least favorite because of the random aspect, but this one is really, really strong. It's a 1-drop that you can use as sacrifice fodder. All of this stuff is sacrifice fodder, obviously. Mono Black has 3 really good 1-drops that are all just perfectly just ready to be sacrificed. And when it dies, you draft a card from its spellbook. And that could get you a Witch's Cauldron, Witch's Vengeance, which is great, Witch's Oven. So it's all witch theme stuff. Witch's Cottage, Witch's Familiar, Curse of Leeches, Cauldron Familiar, Black Cat, which is cool. Never seen this card before. When it dies, target opponent discards a card at random. Sorcerer's Broom, Bloodhunter Bat, Unwilling Ingredient, Expanded Anatomy, and Cruel Reality, which is the one I wanted to get to. 7 mana Curse. Enchant player. At the beginning of Enchanted player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If that player can't, they lose 5 life. I've gotten this thing a few times off of the Cursebound Witch. Holy cow. Tournament of Scarabs is also really good. Enchant player, it's another curse. At the beginning of Enchanted player's upkeep, the player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. So of course, if you get both of those going, it's super nice. And then last but not least, the Trespasser's Curse, another curse. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under Enchanted player's control, the player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So loads of sweet curses towards the end there in Cursebound Witch's spellbook. Great new 1-drop. I don't need to reintroduce Eyetwitch and Shambling Ghast. We all know exactly what they do. But we can have a look at the lesson board that the Eyetwitch provides us with. We've got 2 copies of Environmental Sciences, 2 Pest Summonings, 1 Introduction to Annihilation, 2 Mascot Exhibitions. Then 1 Village Rites, a couple of copies of Village Rites, full play set of Daily Dispute. We do want to be drawing cards a lot, and sometimes just having that 1 mana open to draw a card is more easy to have than 2. So a couple copies of Village Rites I thought was a great addition. Then Infernal Grasp as our removal card of choice. Doesn't handle Planeswalkers. I don't know if we should maybe I don't know, put in either a Blood Chief's Thirst or the Hero's Downfall, just a one of. Let's see how it goes, and we might make some adjustments on the fly as usual. Then I've got 3 copies of the Voldaren Bloodcaster, which is our main way of making blood tokens. Actually, it's the only other way we have of making blood tokens in the deck. So the play here is this: if we can set up a board where we've got all of our little one drops gumming up the board, and then we've also played a Voldaren Bloodcaster, and then the opponent puts us into a position where we need to sweep the board. And these things are all really small, and the toughness on the Bloodcaster, of course, is very little. So they're going to die. But whenever Voldaren Bloodcaster or another non-token creature you control dies, you create a blood token. So you would be then getting, a bunch of blood tokens when it dies. We can then reanimate it with an Agadeem's Awakening and use those blood tokens to get triggers off of the Sanguine Brushstroke, which might actually be at that point the game-ending triggers, because if you sweep your own board with a Meathook Massacre, and if you've got Blood Artist on the board, the Meathook Massacre plus Blood Artist gets you a lot of life drain, and then you can start sacrificing blood tokens and get life drained that way as well. Then we've got Fell Stinger for even more card draw, as well as having a nice, 3/2 Death Touch is great against aggro. And yeah, there's plenty of stuff to sacrifice to it, so you're always going to be drawing those 2 cards. Don't forget that it does do 2 damage, so sometimes I have had this done to me. I have not yet done this to an opponent, but it is possible. You can target player, and you target the opponent and ping him for the last 2 points of damage with the Fell Stinger, which is quite a fun way to win if we can line it up. In the mana base, a couple of Hives, 1 Hostile Hostel. Actually sniped the majority of this list from Croakies. Go check him out. If you don't know who he is, I don't know, you've probably been sleeping under a rock, or you don't watch much MTG content. By the way, him and CGB have a huge battle lined up. I'll give them a little bit of free advertising. I can't remember the date that it's on, but you can just go check it out on their channels. They've got trailers up for it. CGB's put his streak of uploads on the line. If he loses 2 Croakies, he's gonna stop his streak and proclaim Croakies as the one in best of 1. Oh, it's gonna be epic. Definitely gonna tune in for that. But he put this. I did make a few changes to his original deck, but I did decide to leave this Hostile Hostel in here because you can sacrifice creatures to it and put a soul counter on it. And then if there are 3 or more soul counters on it, you remove those counters and you transform it. And you then untap it, and you can only do this as a sorcery. And it becomes the Creeping In, which is a 3/7. And whenever it attacks, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. And if you do, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creature card exiled with Creeping In. And you can have it phase out for 4. Really weird card. Like mythic. Hardly saw any play at all. So let's see if it's worth keeping in here or not. Is Croakies just memeing. So that's the deck, and I think this is going to be, and you'll see, it looks like nothing much. It looks really unassuming. But the Sanguine Brushstroke, Meathook Massacre combination, coupled with the plentiful sack fodder and the blood tokens, just makes for an incredibly potent deck. And I think by the end of the video, you'll agree that this is going to be one of the forces to be reckoned with in the Alchemy standard. Then, added bonus content before we jump into the games. Those of you who will stick around to the end, I have, of course, made a BrewLab fashion version of the deck that I think you'll like a lot, and it should be pretty strong as well. So we'll tag on a couple of games with this deck at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Right, now at this point in my videos, as we are queuing up for our first game of the day, is when I like to do a tiny bit of self-promotion. So if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, kindly consider doing so. And of course, if you could like the video, leave a comment and hit the subscribe button, you would make me a very, very, very happy little lone fox. Right. Let's kick some ass. Playing against dude whose name I can't pronounce. Alright. Deadly Dispute and something to sacrifice to it always just is fine in a mono black deck, in my opinion, and we get to see the new Witch turn 1. Ooh. Now, do we sack it to the Dispute or do we sack it to the Stinger? That's the question. Ooh, vampires. I think we sack it to the Dispute. Gives us more options. What do we get? What do we get? Let's go for the... Let's go for the cat. This is great. Can -1 this time around. You'll get a blood token, but that's okay. Nice alternate art on that Bloodcaster. Let's save our treasures. I say we save our treasures. Agadeem. We're digging for our enchantment. Yeah. Might actually be a mirror match. Let's gum up the board well and truly. Be set up for a massacre. Yep. It's a mirror. Typical matchmaker shenanigans. So now, if we do a massacre, it's gonna be okay, but kind of mitigated. I still think massacre is the go here. Can do one more turn. If we get a land, we can do both. Yeah, sounds good. I'll get him to discard with the black cat. Target myself. Boom, boom. Triggers his blood artist. Land. We got the Brushstroke. Okay, so then we just hold tight, set up for a bigger Massacre next turn, although he might have one himself. All right. Ooh, okay. We definitely need to get rid of this guy. He's gonna make so many blood tokens. But what can I do? Watch this. This is gonna be Trigger Mania. Okay. Let's make a treasure. Those are all my blood artists. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah, this is gonna get old quick. Oh, it's for the stinger. Ah, oh, sneaky. Pardon me. I'm interested to see how this shakes out, because he's got 2 blood artists, but I got the Massacre. Ugh. I think it's going to be about even. Oh no. My triggers didn't go off first. Okay. There's a lesson to be learned here, guys. When playing the mirror. Okay. That's good to know. Makes perfect sense, actually. I should have seen that coming. His triggers were on the stack first. Okay. So as you can see, straight up, first game, already it's a deck that we're facing in the meta. It's, of course, also the matchmaker there just pairing us the way it usually does on game 1. But it's good. This deck is going to be a thing. Be aware. I wonder if he was laughing the whole way when I just committed suicide with that. You can do a lot with little mana here, but... Sure. Hopefully we get a land. Ooh. Oh no, this is gonna be... Oh no, forget I said anything. Wow, Dragon's Approach. Okay. If he's got a Jawari, I'd rather he counters the Shambling Ghast and the Eyetwitch, which is why I cast it first. Uh-oh. Okay. Interesting. Okay, nice. We got a card draw. Let's go with the Witch. I don't think there's going to be many players. I mean, many creatures. There's a land. Nice. Okay. Boom. I knew it. Fortunately, I have some removal. Albeit costly removal. Okay. We stopped his first combo. It's one Velomachus by himself isn't enough. If he can do it once more, we're screwed. If I shouldn't have attacked with the Eyetwitch. Oh no. It does. Wow. Cannot believe we just forgot to keep the Eyetwitch up. Two glaring misplays back to back. You can see I have never played this deck before. We're learning as I go along. Please bear with me. That had nothing to do with the deck. That was just a misplay. Pure and simple. If I just held back the Eyetwitch, we would have won. Just one turn away. I would have just massacred my own board and that would have won. So dumb. Sorry, guys. It's been a long night. Hello. Let's get the Bloodcaster going ASAP. Party, huh? Probably be banned. Yeah. Pack Beast. Trigger, trigger, trigger. Draw some cards. Perfect. That's nice. Let's see if he blocks with the Jaspera. Huh? Gotta maintain that party. We got the cruel reality, baby. Oof. Okay, this Meathook Massacre is just gonna be beautiful. The biggest one. Oh, this is gonna be glorious. You need to do it for 3. Oh, wait, I don't... Yes, I do. Whew. Wait, let's attack first. Maximum damage. Oh, baby, that feels so good. Another commander, huh? Oh, let's go for the... full suite of sack fodder. Oh, there goes my massacre. Oh, I was kind of really hoping for that. Land. Let's see what we get. Oh. Yeah, I know it's my go, dude. I'm just gonna curse your ass. No problem. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, nice. And 2 more triggers. That's just great. One more land. Mind. I'm tempted. Okay, let's just be patient. Play it cool. We've got 4 Meathook Massacres in the deck. Okay. Got him. Whew. We needed that Redeemer. His first 2 games were terrible. Just getting warmed up. I did just wake up. It is 5 in the morning. I haven't had coffee yet. Excuses, excuses. Ow. Crawling Infestation. Mill 2 cards. Whenever 1 or more creature cards, put into your graveyard. Create a 1/1. Wow, only triggers once each turn. That's rubbish. On to the next one. How are we doing for time? Half an hour in. Perfect. We still got to remember to stick in some BrewLab style Brushstroke Massacre madness. Not incredible, but main card of the deck in hand. Let's keep it. Triple Ghast, baby. No mene, no mene. Uh-oh. Cheap dragons coming through. Skadoosh, skadoosh, skadoosh. This can be a sack outlet. Uh-oh. That gives us 2 damage every turn. Let's give it one more turn. So Mardu, huh? I thought it was. Three mana Inferno, boys. Wow. Fearsome Whelp, everybody. Nice. That's nuts. We have 2 mana. +1. Wait. First we attack. Maximum damage. And then... Oop. Make a freaking dragon disappear. Ping, ping, ping. Oof. Might just crawl back into this one. Ping, ping, ping. That's pretty nice. Sack the one that can't attack. Ping, ping, pingity, ping, 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 ping. I think it's too late in the game for that. Got him. Okay, so we're starting to figure out the various play lines. Blood Artist is epic. I was a bit worried at first. You keep forgetting that it's conjured. I kept thinking it was a token and that we wouldn't have a way to reanimate it and that the opponent would just get rid of it straight away. It's a 0/1. And then I was like, oh, that's not such a good card. Then I was like, you can reanimate that thing. Then it starts to look a lot better. So little things like, it can't be exiled by Brutal Cathar permanently. Ooh, Resolve. Deadly Dispute would be nice. Mwah. I love it when the deck listens like that. Just go away. That was a huge hit. Infernal Grasping a Sedgemoor Witches. Clearly a very bad move. Go grab my Exile for Edgar. Skadoosh. Also twitching. Little twitchy boy. There's definitely a blood on the snow here, but that could be beneficial. Yeah. Badunk, badunk, badunk. I wonder if this would work well in an Orzhov deck. You just straight up kill the dude. Dispute. Man, this is a tough decision. Thinking if I massacre myself, I can then Agadeem's Awakening back for 3 next turn. We can hold up removal for whatever he plays and get rid of this Edgar at some other point if necessary. It's a lot of blood tokens, you know? We've got like approaching the point at which we can maybe just kill him that way. It's 1. For each one we'll do 1 damage. So we can do 5 damage as is. It's back up to 11. Eyetwitch. Blood Artist. Fell Stinger. Wait. Damn it, we just don't have enough mana to also have... Well, that's fine. I'll just sacrifice the Twitch again to the Fell Stinger. Yeah. So, Eyetwitch, Fell Stinger, Blood Artist. Boom. Oof, baby. Myself. Ooh. This actually benefits me greatly.
Aren't I generous?
Watch this. Oh, this is gonna be trigger mania, guys. Are you ready? Zap. Sure. No problem.
We will slay our enemies.
Oh. I think that's done it. That's absolutely done it. And if it hasn't, we can still attack for 2 with the Fell Stinger. Yeah, that's totally done it. Don't concede yet, please. Let me see the triggers.
A gift in exchange for loyalty.
Got him. So setting up for these big massacres with a few blood artists on the board is just, you know, what the deck's all about. And I think that's going to be it as far as this one. Definitely redeemed myself from those earlier 2 losses, navigating a couple of nice wins there. So I think we're going to leave it at that as far as Brushstroke Massacre. This is going to be a thing. Be ready to see it if you play Alchemy all over the place. If you don't want to be playing it, figure out ways to play against it. I can think of a few. You know, some graveyard hate would be good. So you can't reanimate stuff. Some enchantment hate. There's definitely ways to beat this deck, but as you can see, it's very, very strong. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about my choices for the sideboard, the adjustments that I made compared to Croaky's version. The Hostile Hostel there actually ended up being a really nice sack outlet there and ended up being really good in that one game. So we didn't get to flip it, but still nice to have that extra sack outlet. Sometimes it was all we needed against that dragon player. But let's jump into a couple of games with the Black Blood version 2. And this is a BrewLab version. And what does that mean? Of course, it's a tribal version. So we're running very similar cards. We've got the Meathook Massacre, Sanguine Brushstroke, Voldaren Bloodcaster. That stuff is the same. We do also have Agadeem's Awakening, but we don't have all the sack fodder. We're going more for the blood token plan with the Sanguine Brushstroke rather than the creatures dying off of the Blood Artist, although that does work as well. And that effect is compounded by having multiple Warlock classes on the battlefield that just at level 1 mean that at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, each opponent loses 1 life. So you add that onto all the other triggers, it's great. And of course, it also acts as a little bit of card draw on level 2. And if we can ever get it to level 3, then again, compounding the whole drain effect of the deck even more. The opponent loses life equal to the life lost this turn at the beginning of their end step. So even if we just drain for a bit in one turn, it might end up being what kills him. Then we've got 2 copies of Blood Fountain to bring back some stuff in the graveyard, as well as making more blood tokens when it ETBs. A little bit of removal with Blood Chief's Thirst. Could be removal, could be a buff. Gift of Fangs, I like it. I like putting it on like a Henrika Domnathi. It becomes like a 5/6 or something, with lifelink, death touch, and flying. But it can also give -2/-2 to a non-vampire, so can occasionally be used to pick off smaller things the opponent has on the board. Then a couple copies Feed the Swarm, because, you know, the mirror match, because so many enchantments, and it does double as a removal spell. And it's great against creature tokens that cost 0, so then you don't lose any life. Then it's just a 2-mana removal, which is okay. So a couple copies of Feed the Swarm. Let's see how it shakes out. Then I got one more way of bringing things back from the graveyard other than Agadeem's Awakening and Blood Fountain. Just a sneaky couple copies of Null Priest of Oblivion, which can be kicked. So the total mana will be 6, and you can, when it ETBs, return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Usually we bring in back the Blood Artist or the Voldaren Bloodcaster, which is our next card, but I don't need to reintroduce it. We've already just played it. Did not get to flip it once. It's very hard to flip, of course, but it would be cool if we can ever get it to happen. It's really mostly in here, though, for the die triggers, creating blood tokens, so that then we can sacrifice those blood tokens and ping the opponent, drain the opponent even more with Sanguine Brushstroke. But if we ever do get to flip it, then of course that's amazing, because the bats end up being more sacrifice fodder for the big Meathook Massacre finisher or something like that. But then there's another sweet new card which works well with all of this. Falkenrath Forebear. It's a recursive 3/1 flyer that can't block, but whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create a blood token. So that's the first good thing. And then you can, from the graveyard, sacrifice 2 blood tokens. So when you do that, and Sanguine Brushstroke is on the battlefield, you'd ping the opponent for 2, and you would gain 2, just by bringing this guy back to the battlefield. So you pay 1 mana, you sacrifice the 2 blood tokens, deal 2 damage, gain 2 life, get back a 3/1 flyer. Keep making more blood tokens, keep swinging in the air. And, you know, of course, you can happily sacrifice him to, let's say, Henrika Domnathi's the first choice there. Each player sacrifices a creature, because then, of course, you get all of the triggers from your Blood Artists and your Meathook Massacres and everything, and then you can just bring it right back and get more triggers, bringing them back. So, Falkenrath Forebear, 4 of in the deck. Main card of the deck, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. I didn't test this one too much, but I feel like it's got all the bits there to be a sweet little brew. A little bit more removal. We did need something instant speed, so I went with Hero's Downfall, because it can also hit Planeswalkers. So 3 copies, just straightforward. Nothing much else needs to be said about that. Then full playset of Sanguine Brushstroke. Of course, it's the main card of the deck. 2 copies of Agadeem's Awakening, which brings our total lands to 22, which is a bit low, I know, but it's okay. It's been working fine. The top end is, we've got also Hagra Mauling, so sorry, 23. 23 is fine. With the 4 mana as the top end, it's totally fine. And we got 3 Henrika Domnathis and 3 Sorens the Mirthless. We've already discussed these cards a lot. I don't feel like I need to reintroduce them completely. Just notable mentions. The main creatures in the deck either have flying, death touch, or lifelink. And so when you do use the pump effect on the Infernal Seer, everything gets pumped, including the token from Sorin, etc., etc. So pretty nice. And then Sorin just trying to gain some card advantage. We don't have, you know, all the Deadly Disputes and the Village Rites that the other deck had, so we're relying on top decks mostly, and Sorin and Henrika Domnathi drawing us a little bit of cards. So hopefully that will be enough. That's the deck. Oh wait, and of course the level 2 of Warlock class. So it has been enough in testing so far. It's not the best card draw, but it's been enough. Then we've got a pretty wonky mana base. I've now decided that I'm going to do this. Pam. And let's jump into some games. Just a couple. The sun's rising. I need to get cracking. Black Blood. It is a version 2 because of, I think the first one I put up that was similar to this was, I think I called it Sorin's Fangs or something like that. It was a mono black Vampire's Blood Token deck a few weeks back. Rogues. Or just mill. Jawari. Got Jawaried. Nasty. Nasty mono blue. Just making sure it's not like a vampire rogue. Let's keep that. Nah, we've got the other removal. Badunk. I wonder what the game plan here is. I'm expecting to see like a crab. Okay, it's the seafood deck. This thing like just has like seafood in its spellbook. This could be nice with Crossus, but like it's just so obscure. There's the crab. I knew you were coming. Double triggers. Boom, boom. Okay. 3. It's the second and last Agadeems that's going to the... Anyway, we can reanimate the Falcon Wrath. Might be a counter spell here, but stop him making these little seafoods, get some triggers. people actually going for this. What's the mythic? I think each spellbook has like a mythic, no? Or like, you know, at least one card that's like the bomb. I guess it's that Kraken. Can't believe I just got counterspelled with the freaking devious cover-up. Of all things. That means that Falcon Wrath is bye-bye. Kind of sucks to have to do this without the brushstroke on the battlefield. Sure. I'm just gonna level one of these up. Oh, please don't have a counter spell. Please don't have a counter spell. Baby, baby.
I am vengeance, bloody and righteous. You deal with this annoyance.
Mr. Mono Blue is flooding big time. He still has that bomb in hand that he got from the angler, but... Or maybe the crab is what he got off the angler. Nice. Alright, it's time for our last game of the day. Of course, I'm going to put both of these decks in the video description for you guys to copy and enjoy, as well as on the other hub. Soccer. Soccer. Nice. This Christmas themed background thing is so cringy. Third land for our brushstroke. Let's block with the Bloodcaster if he attacks. It's be interesting to see this matchup. It's good old mono green. Boom, boom. Double trigger. It's a war of attrition, this deck. Ooh, nerfed Asika. It's my first time seeing it. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. A little bit of life gain. Can block pack leader. There's probably a Blizzard Brawl coming my way though. No Brawl? Maybe he'll brawl me with the chariot. I'd rather stop the card draw than the token generation. We get a Blood on the Snow now. I mean, a Meathook Massacre would just be the best thing ever. Please, Meathook Massacre off the top. Come on, deck. I know you love me. Deciding whether to Blizzard Brawl the artist. No. Oh. No such luck. Let's go digging. Okay. Still digging. Oof. It's gotta be Sorin. Didn't find the massacre. Gonna definitely pay for that. Ow. Boink. Yeah, well, I think this one is, not looking very good, lads. Down to 1. Massacre. Off the top. Come on. Turn late. And 1 damage short of getting rid of the troll, so never mind, we lose. If only this could be played untapped. Good game. Opponent. You can just make the troll. Otherwise we might have survived. Bidink, bidink, bidink. Close-ish. Kinda close-ish. Alright, guys. That's gonna be it for this video. I've gone well over the 1 hour mark. The Tribal Brew wasn't supposed to pop off. I mean, it was supposed to pop off, but I wasn't supposed to do a full video with it. I was just supposed to show you a couple of games and just tag it on as some bonus feature. So now that we're in this final wrap, final thoughts segment of the video, let's jump back into the brew and yeah, just discuss briefly. And I don't think there's much that needs to be discussed. I think maybe the only things that we can talk about here are potential like adjustments in the lesson board, as we only do have 1 Eyetwitch. With the Agadeem's Awakening, we can potentially get all the cards out of our lesson board, so maybe it would be better to skip an environmental sciences and a mascot exhibition and flesh it out a bit with some other cards. But other than that, watch out for this one, lads. It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing. But all right, thanks so much for watching. Those of you who make it to the end, as you know, you are my favorite people in the whole wide world. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all in the next one for some fresh brews. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab signing out. Peace, y'all.